know, they're awful long, there's a lot of stuff in here, but we're gonna have to make a motion to correct as they're read. If anybody wants to change anything that's on them, I'll accept it this time. If not, I'll
Mayor, should I ask, if we could, when we have something like this, if we could also have what was either taken out or put in so that we'll know what we're changing? It's kinda hard to know when you look at it, really what you're changing.
Okay, Mallory, you got that?
Thank you.
We'll take care of it. We'll do that. So that's not a bad idea. Anytime we change something, we need to look to be sure what we're reading, what's been corrected.
The only correction that I see is on March 9 in the second paragraph. It's the 1, 2, 3,
What page is that on?
10, page 10.
Page
sorry.
10, okay? Might go to page 10. All right, and where we at?
Fourth sentence, it starts with falsification. That says material and accuracy, and that's supposed to say, or material inaccuracy and official.
Okay. I understand that. Larry, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. And more corrections.
That was my southern slang, I'm sure. That was my southern slang when I was saying inaccuracy.
So were the other corrections for Mallory, did you do those, or? Okay. So,
Yes. Mallory, this is all you take and give the corrections, what you get. So we'll do what Roger asked, what we will, now, whatever she corrects. We'll leave what the original minutes say, if we do any, and we'll show the correction. All right. All right. Sorry. Motion. Need a motion to approve. I make a motion. Need a second.
Second.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. The first time. First time.
That's okay, we're all due one.
Second.
All right, let's call it.
Chip Clark,
Yes.
Roger Lofton,
Yes.
Tim Rose,
yes.
Donna Ross,
Yes.
Jimmy White,
Yes.
Gabe Williams, Sandra Wood. Yes.
Next item is mayor comments. I've got a few things I'd like to go over. This is for the audience and also for the board members, so you understand kind of what's going on and what's coming up. I would like to thank everyone for coming tonight. I said we have a very large crowd, so I intentionally didn't go on up for election. I'm not sure which one it is. But anyway, we've ordered some camera, or I have ordered a camera for the cemetery. It's not in yet, but when it comes in, we're gonna test it. But we're working on security out there. In the meantime, we're leaving the police camera out there till we get this camera in, but we're working on that. Two, we've got a call around, but what we're gonna do is we have patrolmen's off or short. We got some serving military pay down in Memphis. So what we're gonna do is, the chief has asked me to make pay adjustment for those filling in the positions, especially for Ryan Courtwright. He's the new sergeant's pay during the time that he's having to fill those duties. I recommend that we do that. Grant of the $5 million will not be in the 26-27 budget. We have 5 years to complete this. I had a meeting with the state last week. I told them what our plan was. They was fine with it, and what we'll look after the 26-27 budget, and we'll see what's due and what we can and can't do. But we have up to 5 years for filling this. If we choose to do it, if not, we can turn it back in. But we're gonna explore some avenues that might be able to let us do this. We're gonna wait till then. We have a full year to be able to do this, and I recommend that's what we do. You have in your hands, I got this cost for the camera system and sound system. The board would like to get one because everybody complains about the sound. We're ordering soundboards to go in the room so we won't get an echo. And we're gonna also get some sound equipment and a camera system. Right now, the current bid that we have to do this would require $5,290. But in talking to the people that looked at this system, said for future reference over the period to get it like it needs to be, where it could go out with good audio and good camera, would be around $25,000 to $30,000. I'm not doing it tonight, but I'm just making aware of what we've been told, okay? But to get it up to par where we could broadcast and have good sound right now, the quote we have is $5,290. And like I said, this is just for reference. Number 5, local government software that we're running, the city is running on right now, does not handle accounting per se in the utility department. Lexington Electric System has accounting system for the utilities. We're running on local government on our water, sewer, and gas, and it's not the proper software that we need. So we need to be looking and thinking about for the fiscal year going forward that we need to split this off so it can have its own software and accounting rules so we can keep up in a proper way. Right now we can't. It has several avenues that does not allow us to do that in local government. Local government is not set for a bid, it's set for year to year, like July the 1st to the end of June is what it is. Where you have an accounting software and a business that does that you do all your depreciation schedules, what your costing is, what your programs are that you need to run to make it accounting that like the auditors can look at and identify what's going on. The two do not mix, so we need to be thinking about doing that in the upcoming year. Now I'm just telling these things so you can understand that we're going to start working on the 25th. That's this week. Department heads and I will sit down. We'll look at where we are in the budget this year, see if we're still in line, if we had overspent, and I think right now we're pretty well okay. I don't think we're way out of line. But what we got to do is get it in line for the upcoming year so we can bring it to you. And I'd like to be able to bring it to you in the March meeting just for review, because we'll have to really get real serious in May. So that's what we're going to do. All right, that's my comments, and I appreciate it. All right, we have public comments. And Scotty Kaiser. And for the record, Scotty, please. We know who you are. We just state your name and address, okay?
Okay, my name is Scotty Kaiser, and I appreciate the board for giving me the opportunity just to say a couple of words.
Sure.
You know, I sit on the other side for so long, not listening to all the other people talking about the city and city workers. So I got enough nerve to come today and back to my city workers, okay?
Okay.
Because when I turn the lights on, they come on. And when I hit the water, it comes on.
Just saying, Scotty, push it, which green?
Yeah, no, his is good.
Huh?
That's the one that works on.
Oh, it does, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so I'm here to say that if you have city workers that have worked for you for 40-something years, 30-something years, they love what they do. Their heart is in the city, you know. And sometimes, you know, we just forget that. We forget about those hard-working people that's put their lives on hold for this city. You know, that's a long time to have one job. 30, 40 years doing the same old thing. They love it. And I'm gonna say something about the, you know, that's the water, the sewer, the police department. I mean, Lexington, we live right between Nashville and Memphis, and Jackson is right beside us. And I know for a fact that the police department keeps that garbage out of the city, because we don't have it here. Well, if you do, tell me, because I don't see it. They work all day and all night to protect this city. And I'm proud to see the cars riding through my neighborhood, because that's what I want. I want to go to bed at night. I want that same protection that we've always had here. Always had. People from Jackson don't come down here and mess with Lexington because they are afraid. And it's plenty of proof. You used to hear them on jail calls, don't go to Lexington. The law will get you down there, don't go to Lexington, bypass Lexington. Because that's the way it's always been here. I'm saying this today because I know what it takes to continue this. Because I don't do it anymore, right? I do not. But when I go home and go to bed, I want to be safe. I don't want to wake up with somebody trying to break in my house. I don't want that. So I'm just here to say that remember those workers, what they do, what they have done. And those people that worked all these years protecting us, please don't forget me, okay? They have served well. I'm talking about the water, sewer, the city. They always has took care of us. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to say that before somebody got up and said something negative, okay? Thank y'all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can't do that.
Ray Perry?
My name is Frida Perry. I live 344 South Road. I've been on this cemetery kick for 2 years. And you said, Gordon, that when you come back the last of March, you wanted that cemetery lit up in cameras. Well, I was over at the cemetery nearly every day last week, and I've been over the cemetery today. And nothing changed over there. There's no new cameras there's no cameras put up, there's no lights put up over that whole cemetery over there. There is about 10 or 11 lights that's all on that whole cemetery. Where my family is buried, there's no lights at all. Where Ronnie's family is buried, there's 2 lights. There's 2 lights in the black cemetery. And down across the old cemetery, there's 4. And then on the other side, there's 1 or 2 over there. You know, I know it's gonna cost money, but that's our family, that's our friends. I'm more sure y'all got friends and family over there. I know, Gordon, you got in-laws over there. You know, and I don't see nothing more important than that cemetery over there. And they lock the gates of the night, okay, they lock the gate. On this side of the lock gate, you can pull your car right around there and go right up that road. This gate, over here on this side, that fence, it just goes so far back, and then it hits the woods. People down there by the electric system, they can come walk up there behind them houses, come right in that cemetery. So they don't have to, it don't make no difference where the gates is locked or they're not, they can still get in that cemetery. So, you know, maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe y'all just telling me what y'all want me to know or what y'all want me to do or think. But I'm really concerned about that cemetery because I got people over there. Today's my daddy's birthday. He's 97 years old. He's been over there 53 years. And the last time when they dug down in his grave, it took me a year, 1 year, to get that grave fixed. And I'm sorry if I make somebody mad, but that's how I feel. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
My name is Bob Rogers. I live at 517 Lakeshore Drive, Lexington, Tennessee. I've been out there for 38 years. The road stopped at 517 Lakeshore when I moved out there. And I've been driving up and down them roads for 38 years. Sometimes I speed, maybe, sometimes I don't. Just according to how big a hurry I'm in. But anyway, I'm here about the speed bumps. Y'all heard that before, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Speed bump. Well, one time, I forgot where one was, told me 2 blocks out of the truck. Well, they ain't got that truck anymore, I can't prove it. I put another 2 blocks in. But anyway, I look like I've been in a bar fight, but I haven't. I fell in the floor. So anyway, Nancy and I, my wife named Nancy Robin, we drove around everywhere in the subdivision. Now, I counted 157 houses. They may be a little bit more out there. If it is, I'm sorry, I miscounted them. But we also got 141 names to say they don't want no speed bumps. So 157 and 141, I believe that's more than 67%. Am I not right, Jimmy? Well, that's a lot of names. And I think there's 10 against it. Well, that makes 151 out. 10 against, 141 for. And there's, how many left? 141 and 10, 151. 5 people wasn't at home. It took us 3 or 4 months to get these names. But we got it. And I don't want to come back up here more talking about speed bumps. I got a skidster and I know how to get them up. You know, don't take too much long, but I guess I can set them afire and burn them up. But anyway, we've had one major accident out there. And like I said, I've lived there 38 years. Why change a good thing, you know? Right now, I'm tired of going over 4 speed bumps before I get to my house. Y'all want to pay for my 2 box? My bed and my truck? Well, you can't. I traded the truck. I got a new one. Mine is a 2 box in there where I wouldn't throw it out. But anyway, y'all want to ask me any questions? But anyhow, just say you're gonna try to speed yourself. I think I got a lot more neighbors out there wanting to tore up the sign. So if we got 10 against and 141 for, I think we're kind of outnumbered the rest. Don't you think so? Say yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank y'all for listening to me talk.
You're welcome. Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Been a while since I've been before a crowd. Somebody says, well, you know how to do this? I said, well, yeah, I used to manage 60 people. I had AutoZone every morning. Had to get out there 3 times a day and tell them what to do, what not to do, and keep them safe. So I'm here, Lisa Johnson. I live at 230 White Street. Most of them even know by Jack's wife. Okay? I'd like to start just saying thank you to Miss Donna Ross for her extra work last week. I was here for the special call meeting, and I'm just still happy to see Tim's on board right now, and God bless for that. I'm here as far as the speed bumps, okay? I have no problem with speed bumps. I've got 2 on White Street going towards Lexington High School. They probably could be rumble strips. It might slow them down a little bit more. Those 2 little bumps don't do anything. All it does is start the drag strip from point A to point B. First bump, second bump. When they go over that first one, they done it to the second, and then they go over. Okay, but I have no problem. You can leave them or take them up, it don't matter. What I'm planning on doing is going around the neighborhood though. I've got a lot of good neighbors, and I talk to them regularly and ask them about different things and opinions, sit on the front porch. And this is going to be one of them. Say if they like them. I mean, like I say, everybody's got one, and I've got an opinion, don't bother me. What I would like to see, and it's, like I say, we got cameras. Watched a little old girl the other night demolish her car on the light pole where he turned off the white down Roberts. So I had video of it. It was gonna say it was her fault. The road goes right into the sidewalk, and I think the young lady was following the road and it led her straight into that pole. Enough of that. I'm sure that, the officers did their research and their investigation on that, because I think they're probably gonna hear from that one. But, as far as safety is what I'm really concerned with, from Huntington, where it comes off the Y, if you know anything about that area, where it Y's off onto, to White Street. What I'm also gonna do is, let me interject, and I apologize, I do tend to stutter a little bit, and I spoke to some people back there, but my train of thought goes off. What I'm gonna do is go around the neighborhood and see if there's any objections or disagreeable, maybe getting before the board here, and, the other entities involved, the county, because it is a Lexington High School, it's county, correct? The city, the school board, and see if we could, once again, connect White Street to White Place via south end of the tennis court. And you say, is it school property? Yes, it is. It's just something they mow. What would it do for us? It would give the people another way out safely, instead of having a line stalled from the parking lot to the Y at Huntington Street. It would give those that want to go up Summer all the way to the hospital at the red light. It would allow them just to shoot straight across if they took that one little lane, extra lane that we could put in. Probably wouldn't be a lot of upkeep, but there again, have everyone involved, school board, the city, the county, for safety purposes, to divide and conquer some of this traffic flow that Lexington High School has. Believe me, after 30 years, I've seen a lot. I've seen horseplay, you know, and on and on and on, but we're not gonna go there either. But the biggest part is safety. And then you think about it again, the wear and tear on White Street alone. Okay, that's taxpayer dollars. Okay, White Street alone gets a beating going to the high school. Guess what? They go, they drop off. Guess what? They go back, they pick up. And then the kids go after school. Once they're out of school, they go there to the parking lot. That's it. I have no problem with that. You know, I used to hang out too. I hung out at Saltillo. I went to school, sorry, if anybody remembers that place. But everybody's got another place to hang out, and I have no problem with the traffic on that. As long as it's controlled traffic. And like I say, it would give another safe out for those. I know it doesn't go into speed bumps a lot, but I would like for y'all to be taking those, put it in the back of your head, because I am going to come back. I'm going to come back with some signed papers from everybody around my neighborhood and disagree on a few things. I don't know why we don't have a flashing amber at the beginning of Huntington to know, for those that don't know, that it's a school zone. And it should be limited on speed between the hours of, 7:30 to 3:30? You know, and enforce that school zone. Right now, there's nothing. There's nothing to let you know there's school. It's about like Saltillo running into the river. Okay? If you don't know it, you're gonna run into the school parking lot. It's just there. So, I'm glad school's there. I'm glad it's doing good. Got a new tennis court. We're going to see a new school, but that's another thing too. Safety. I can't get enough of safety. That was my main priority when I worked out at that place. I won't keep mentioning it. Safety. My granddaughter did graduate from Lexington High School. She's 21 now, but she said when she went, they were assigned parking places so they knew who was there for that day. And that kind of stuck in the back of my mind when I was thinking about all this, and I thought, Kaywood has a very good process of having something hanging from their mirror that says, I've got the right to be there. Why doesn't Lexington High School have that? Another safety. Another safety. If an officer drove through there, through the school hours, and saw someone sitting there, which I have observed many times, with out-of-county tags. I see Carroll, I see Wheatley, I see Haywood, I see Shelby, I see McNair, I see so many. I'm thinking, why are they just sitting there? And that could give the officer a question if they saw they didn't have a parking pass for that high school parking lot. Just like Haywood, a drop-off tag, and if you ain't got it, you don't belong there. Okay, I kinda got off the speed bumps, but that's how I do. When I got things on my mind, I kinda roll with it. And I'm glad I got y'all's attention, and I hope you take some of this to heart, because it's all about the student. I've still got one more granddaughter, and I hope she goes through Lexington High School. She goes to Beaver right now, in the 6th grade, so it'll be another year or two. But I'm hoping she gets some benefits out of what I've mentioned here tonight. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna go visit my neighbors. Thank you very much.
Nancy Rogers?
I'm Nancy Rogers, 517 Lakeshore Drive, and I think Bob has already said most of what I was gonna say. But I think that the majority should rule, and I think we do have the majority. And we live on the back side of Eastern Shores. We do have to go over 3 or 4 bumps. We've still got Tiffany's little old 91 that just breaks those speed bumps when we go out. I've had no telling how many people, when I went out, to tell me that they would, if they could vote 10 times, they'd vote 10 times to get these speed bumps up. So, I hope tonight, because I don't want to have to go out and get more names, and you will make a decision one way or the other tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Derry?
Name's Jim Terry, live at 26 Mulberry Lane in Lexington. Obviously, speed bumps, my topic, safety, my topic, all those same things that other people have mentioned. But I do want to be sure that you guys heard me last time, and I said, you know, I talked to Chief about the flashing light speed limit. This is your speed, this is what the speed limit is. Because I think that's an alternative to the speed bumps. And I told Donna earlier today, I'm still in favor of that, and I would sponsor one for our neighborhood if that's something that you guys see as an alternative. I don't know what they are today. When Chief got that for me last time, it's about $12,000, but no matter what it is, if that's what it is, I'll pay for one. I know a couple of good places that it could go. So, if y'all vote to take them up, there'd be an alternative to get started on something besides just taking them up and doing nothing. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Been requested for take a 5-minute break, no objection. We'll take about a 5-minute break. Okay? And we'll come back, start our regular business. President's over in.
I'm sorry, I should have.
That's what the designer
How are you? Actually, I know, I recognize. I was talking to you earlier. Yes.
Back to order, please.
I seen her just today.
Please, before we start with the address, or come to the voting position.
I'm Blake Mitchell.
Lawrence knows 543 Lake Shore Drive. I want to commend Bob and Nancy for all their diligent work to come up with this overwhelming consensus. And I would like to know, if this doesn't do it, what do we need to do? Give us some guidance on what else we need to do to get this done. We've beat this dead horse to death and beat it and found all these loopholes, and it still isn't getting done. If this doesn't do it, please give us some guidance of what else we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that covers closing comments from the night. We'll start off with number 7, unfinished business. No voting. We're gonna try to give a little more visibility to the camera so we can see what the proceedings that's going on, so thank y'all. Unfinished business, Jeff, you want to address the automated time clocks?
Yes, sir. We're currently about ready to implement full implementation of the time clock on the existing software that the police and fire run, and to work out bugs, find deficiencies, make sure it's working correctly. We'll be fully implemented on both the police and the fire side this week. Once that occurs, we've got a meeting scheduled with the other department heads as far as implementation citywide. That's supposed to occur on Wednesday. So my hope is that once we've done a trial run, we'll be able to bring it back to the board and have a resolution that will satisfy your needs.
One thing if you could cover, because
Yes,
I've had several city employees of one of their worries.
Yes, sir.
Is in the cybersecurity meeting or class that they took,
Mm-hmm.
they were told if they use their phone here, then their phone then become where it could be investigated by the city for anything, whatever.
No,
So just make sure that, I've tried to explain to all of them, you're not hooking to the Wi-Fi, you're using an IP address.
that's right.
So just make sure the department heads know to cover that too, please.
Yes, sir. Be glad to.
And also you got the building security cameras. So,
Okay, I'm a little fuzzy on that one. I'm not really fully informed on what the request is on that.
I think we was told at the last meeting by the utilities that most of the buildings have security cameras. I'm not sure about Public Works. Does Public Works have security cameras, Casey?
No.
No?
The parks,
No.
the parks didn't, Public Works didn't, cemetery,
We're working on cemetery.
Solid waste.
I think the camera you're working on might have been the deal for all of us, to be honest.
I mean, it's something I can look into and come back with a price for budget.
The problem with the security cameras that everybody we've talked to in producing security cameras is line of sight, because when we're mounting in locations where they really don't have any way to transmit the video, and the ones that we're looking at is supposed to have, we could put repeaters, and what we could do is put them in the city and like send them to the ballpark, or send them to the Public Works, or send them somewhere and then get on the internet and give it to the police station. What we're trying to do is have these cameras where we can monitor 24/7 in case something happens, especially at the cemetery, where we detect movement out there at night. And then what that will do is let us know we'll send somebody out there. These cameras are elusive to get it best. They're not cheap. The first bid I had was $2,000 a piece on these cameras. So when you start buying multiple cameras at $2,000 a piece, the price goes up. We found something that's a little bit cheaper. I told the gentleman, a person that bought one, told him, send it in here, we're gonna test it. If we're gonna test it, there's no use to spend a lot of money until we know what we'll do. But in order to get a good system, it's gonna be like the system in this building, to be able to video and have sound where everybody via internet to see what's going on. It costs money to do this. It don't come so cheap, because the cheap stuff don't work as good as what you pay for. And that's what we're finding more and more, is what we're getting into. So at some point in time, we may have to invest a few at a time instead of doing all of them at one time, because the price may be prohibitive. Well, it's not really prohibitive, but then we have it in our budget to do it. You know, that's kind of where we're trying to solve a monumental thing with a little bit of money, and that may be hard to do. So that's what we're trying to do. The chief and I have been working on this for at least 2 months, contacting different people and doing this, and so far to no avail. We haven't come up with a solution yet. It's not like we're not working on it, but we're working on it constantly, what we're doing. So we'll go back to the cameras. When we do find something that'll work, we'll be glad to present it to the board, and then let them know what's going on. All right, number 7.4, Casey. I'm sorry, 7.3. Oh, sorry. Ooh, back up. I can't even read tonight. We gotta go to 7.3, speed bumps. So we've heard all the comments tonight, and it's up to the board what they want to do about the speed bumps. So here we are. The board can speak, whatever they want to do.
I went through today and, pulled from public record, and what was on the what's on the comptroller site for the Henderson County and Eastern Shores. I showed 151 houses, so y'all picked up more. You may have some new construction that the assessor has just not picked up yet, and it showed as a lot. At 151, 67% was like 100 signatures, 101 signatures. I looked through what Casey had, or that y'all had turned in, and they had said one person per household, but there was very few of those that had multiple signatures per residence. Had the policies that were in place today been in place 3 years ago, y'all been fighting this for 3 years, these bumps would have never been put down on the street. Residents didn't know they were being put down on the street, and they never would have been put down. How many have y'all got that are saying they're in support? 10?
I got a list right
No, you don't have to call their names, but just give me about 10. And so, to me, government should be representing the will of the people. That's what we're here for. And so I'm gonna make a motion. The majority of the will of the people, that is correct. I'm gonna make a motion that the speed bumps on Eastern Shores are removed.
I will second that motion.
Got a motion second, any discussion?
Our only question is, Donna,
Yes, sir.
you're saying that there is more than 67, or at least 67% of a households that have signed individually, and that is what our policy says to do.
That's what our policy
And then our
says.
next step is either take them up or is there something after that?
Casey,
We got one per house,
Yes, this is county.
one vote per house, right? There's 151 houses.
Casey, the policy states the neighborhood or the street?
The street. You hold on, I'll read it again, make sure there. Alright, removal. A, the speed calming measure must have been in place for a minimum of 6-month period. B, a city resident can request via a completed application requiring 2/3, 67% of the property owners of the street and or streets being requested.
The issue with Eastern Shores, as it is with West Point, as it is with Twin Oaks, as it is with numerous subdivisions in our city, the people that live on Eastern Shores are impacted by that. But that is an ingress and egress. It has one way in and one way out. So the people that live beyond Eastern Shores have no choice. To me, we've got to have a little common sense when we are looking at, that's another, Ms. Floyd, what'd you call that? It's another obstacle, it's another block. I mean, these people have been fighting this for 3 years.
My reason for asking is Mr. Rogers just spoke a while ago and said he passes 4. Is that correct?
Excuse me?
I'm telling Mr. Bob, the other day, in the meeting the other night, they said there's only 2 on Eastern Shores Drive. And all we keep talking about is Eastern Shores. So, that's what I'm getting at. If he's going over 4, there's more than just Eastern Shores Drive.
I'm going over 3, I'm sorry. I'm going over 1 at Harbor Drive.
Okay.
I have to go to Eastern Shore, turn left on the harbor, left on Lake Shore.
Well, I just knew we kept saying Eastern Shores.
Yes.
And they said there was only 2.
They're the 2 workers on the Eastern Shore.
And Chip, I think previous meeting, my recollection was we were gonna get the clarification of what the policy says, because to me, this should not be a board vote. Okay, if 67% of the households vote to take them up or put them down, that should happen.
That's what the policy says.
And so, but back to.
I'm agreeing with you.
Back to what we're saying about the streets, I'm not trying, I believe that they've got the majority, I really do, okay? But with that said, for future reference, we need to make this official and not be a vote, okay? That's my opinion, that every time that somebody's got a beef, they don't need to come up here and get certain number of people to vote for their side without representing the people. So in this case, I'm sold, okay? But with that said, for us to uphold the statement, we need to clarify, is it a street, is it a household, is it a property owner, is it a, 67%, 60%, that's on our side.
I did ask people for the sign for that household.
And I believe, I'm not questioning anything, I'm just saying, but for future reference, because I have a feeling this won't be the last time that we hear it.
And I think when we leave tonight, they need to know which ones are coming up or not just Eastern Shores Drive.
We only gonna vote on Eastern Shores, I think, right?
We don't vote.
When I'm
If we
saying,
vote, it's gonna be on Eastern Shores,
We
right?
don't have a vote. The policy is what it is.
when I'm saying Eastern Shores, I'm referring to the subdivision as a whole.
One way in and one way out. It doesn't matter where you live on the lake, you gotta cross it.
There's one lady that lives at the back of the subdivision, she crosses, I think, 24 times a day. 24 a day.
She goes on, lets her dog out.
That's it. 24 times a day she drives over speed bump.
The requirements for policies met.
If the requirements are met, it's over.
The
We don't vote.
We don't vote, okay?
The only unknown that I heard.
But it's only on Eastern Shores, right?
No,
It's a-
You gonna take them all up everywhere?
Eastern Shore.
I know.
You know, they're put down for a reason.
They put down
For
for a reason, folks.
and that's speed. And some of those places want them, and some of them, I guess, don't want them. So,
I've got 10 there.
I understand.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, well, I mean, when you're saying Eastern Shores, you're talking about the whole neighborhood, you're not talking about just the Eastern Shores.
I just wanted to clarify, that was my thing.
I agree.
I believe the issue at hand is the policy says street. And that is why the board is having trouble with the issue itself. If you really wanna do this properly, then the policy needs to be revised so it reflects the neighborhood and not just one street in a neighborhood. Because if you don't revise the policy, this thing will come up time and time again. And I believe what's before the board, and that is, if, and that's what's a big if that's the will of what the people want to do, then we need to revise the policy, so we should be addressing the policy, not the issue of did they get enough votes or not, because it's quite evident that they've got enough signatures to do this, but it is the whole neighborhood, not the street. So I believe the board needs to look at the policy and deal with it.
If you think about it, there wasn't 67% of the vote of that street that voted to put them down. Not any street in this community.
At that time, we have the law.
I agree with you, Jim. The policy will come after the bumps went down. They was put down, and quite frankly, I don't really understand why that was never brought before the board, other than the fact they just voted to put down speed bumps, or humps, whatever you want to call them. But the bottom line of it is, the policy's kind of got amended afterwards, because some of them wanted to take it up. And I believe somebody on the board brought a policy from another town saying if you got 2/3 of the people sign a petition, they take them up, and they stay up for 3 years, and then revisit is what the policy says. But our policy is not holding to what we're doing here, and it'll even question going forward that we should adhere to a policy to change this, and I think that's what we need to do. I think it would justify the people knowing that it deals with a neighborhood, not just one particular street. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, when I started this, I asked how many percentage did I need. I wouldn't even start it if it was gonna be a question.
Well, and the issue
And
is,
I have been doing this since December. I got sick at Christmas time for a month and could not. And then I got back out at it. Bob and I both, and then I got Gail, she helped me. But this was work, just to get out there and do all this.
Sure.
And honestly, when I started it, I thought if I got 67%, it would be done. Now, we're having all these different questions.
well, the issue is too, with the policy, if we're gonna go back to policy, policy says it ought not be on the street more than 750 cars a day. 3 years ago, the traffic count showed 1,000 cars a day. Says it shouldn't be on an emergency route. That's left open to interpretation, but I don't know how you get to Lakeshore Drive without going down Eastern Shores Drive. It's an emergency route. I mean, that's common sense to me. So, I don't know.
What we have is, we have a motion to remove them. Now, mind you, the motion says, what you said was take them off Eastern Shore.
I meant the subdivision. Let me rephrase that.
What I have to do is, you have to rescind the second, and you have to rescind your motion, remake it, because all this doing is requiring to come off Eastern Shore. If you want them all up, then they'll have to represent all the speed bumps in the neighborhood, so, go ahead.
And can we talk about possibly amending the policy tonight?
Yes, sir.
That's what-
Yes, sir, we can.
This is my opinion, but from listening to subdivisions that have one in and out, I agree. So I make the motion that we amend the policy with subdivisions that have one.
Wait a minute. First, I gotta have y'all, Tim and Sandra have to rescind their motion first, okay?
Donna,
I'll rescind my motion.
I'll rescind the motion now, Dave.
I'm sorry.
Now, I'll make a motion to amend our policy for subdivisions that have one in and out, that that 67% of the households represented in that subdivision can put speed bumps down or take speed bumps up.
I'll second that motion.
Clarify the number of votes per household.
One per household.
One per household.
One per household.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's his motion now.
And I've got a second.
All right, we got a motion, amend it, so it's the whole neighborhood, one way in and one out, one vote per household, and I have a second. Now, do we have any discussion on that? Call a roll.
Roger Lofton.
Yes.
Tim Rhodes.
Yes.
Donna Ross.
Yes.
Jimmy White.
Yes.
Gabe Williams.
Yes.
Sandra Woods.
Yes.
Chip Clark.
Yes.
All right, so that means then that the petitions you have submitted will take precedent, because they have changed the policy, and they'll follow what that says. It's what, you don't have to come to the board and get permission, as long as it meets the requirement of this policy. Casey can remove the speed bumps. You good with that, Casey?
Yes.
All right.
And can you have it like estimated time frame just for them so they will know?
Start on them, ASAP.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, since we've done that, we need to put a plan together as to how to slow the speed down.
Exactly.
So
All right.
we gotta come up with something to address that as well.
All right, so now we're gonna address, we're gonna do something in the policy to do that. Jim Terry had an idea.
I'm open, I don't know what would be the best thing, but something, you know. That might work, I don't know. How many, you know, all that.
Do we have to have a motion to accept a gift from Mr. Terry for that? How's that done?
I would, no, I don't think you have to have a motion to accept it. If Jim wants to provide that to the city, I think he can do that freely of his own choice, but I do think,
So just something for y'all to consider. I'm willing to buy one for my neighborhood. Not everybody will be able to provide one for their neighborhood, right? So if you take a speed bump up somewhere else, that street may not have somebody that says, I'm willing to pay for it. And I'm not blinded to the fact that will solve the problem for all of Eastern Shores. It's only gonna solve the problem for that, certain amount of space, like over by.
I will ask this.
You know,
Ms. Johnson had a pretty good idea with speed strips. Everybody familiar with speed strips are? A little bitty, like you get on the road, it's little things go across, you go, like when you go across it, they're not humps, all they are is speed strips. Rumble strips, what they are. Would that be something that we could probably put a few places in the neighborhood?
Mr. Bob's jumping up and down there. Mr. Bob's jumping up and down.
send the police out there.
That's what, Mr. Kaiser said. He says, you don't speed through Clarksburg, do you?
I will add this from previous, before we put this new policy in place, we were referring back to our chief of police and our police department to look for references. So Chief Middleton's as good as this stuff as anybody's with resources, and now that we're taking them up, my thinking would be to allow him a little bit of time to ponder it and see what other options, because, and I'll say this publicly, back when we put those down initially, my thought was that we put them down for a while, hopefully people get used to them being there, they start altering routes and changing things. Now we're 3 years later and they've kind of lost their luster in a lot of places. So to me, when we did it initially, it was a big change. Hopefully that deterred some people at that time, but now here we are years later, and possibly it's lost its luster. So again, my thought would be to let the chief think about it, talk to some other communities, look for resources of ideas. Not kind of the gestures that Mr. Terry, it's a good point that everybody, we can't do that everywhere.
Do a good way to pay for your cameras. All right, take it.
But now, to that credit, when they sat out there and wrote tickets before, it was the residents of Eastern Shores that were doing all the speed.
He's fast.
Quite frankly, I think everybody knows this. We've had questions about staffing and
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry, what you're saying I'm sure is very important, but we can't hear you. Would you mind speaking into your microphone? Thank you so much.
I lost my train of thought. What I was gonna say is, a lot of folks have concerns about the cost of police officers and duties, and we have done our best, and I'm backing this, not me, but our police department's done their best over the years to monitor, and I've seen them set up at Old Huntington Road for a long period of time, and you gotta realize there's not the staff to set police officers in every subdivision all day long, you know, and rest assured that this has been very much in focus. I've taken it seriously, our police department's taken it seriously over the years, and it is very much a polarized and differing opinion from our community, and all we can do is the best we can do. So, with that said, you know, I think we're taking some action here, but, you know, our police department has heard lots of beefs with us over the years, and again, I assure you, they are taking it seriously, and they've done their best. So, to me, from here, that's my opinion, to allow them a little bit of time to ponder what we're doing, take the actions, and what we might can do to replace the speed humps in the areas that we take them up.
I agree with you, Gabe, and in conversation with, Chief Middleton, you know, if you look at the accidents that are occurring inside our city limits on the, major highways, those accident rates have been cut a lot because they have cut the speed down. I mean, these are serious accidents that are occurring, so I agree with you. We can't be everywhere at one time. We just can't.
We all want to concur that we'll let the chief work on this for a little while before we leave. Is that okay with you, Sandy?
Yes, good, yeah.
Okay, you good? Rest of the board good with it? Okay, chief, we'll let you work on it a while, okay?
So what are we doing with the speed bumps?
Casey's got authorization for both. Casey's got
That's what I want
authorization.
to make sure, so he's got authorization.
We're gonna add some to the script. We're gonna add some to the script.
I got plenty.
All right, Casey, you'll come. Address the board on no more bids.
Mayor asked that, bid out the cemetery, we looked at some, places that are more around town.
It's on page 23, but I'd like to look at it.
You got, Gary Garner at $98,500, and, Chris Blake Smith at $73,500, and Evan Oger at $120,000.
And tell them the time period involved here, from when to when.
Okay, so this was from April 1st to October 1st.
And I believe you told them that there would be payments divided out in 7 equal payments. Is this correct?
Yes.
So Casey,
I told you wrong, it's October 31st, not 1st, sorry.
and I'm not really up to date on the details of this, but obviously, what does this cover? I mean, we mow a lot of area. We have a lot of resources to go back and fix things when things don't get done right. Like, what exactly is this contract gonna cover? Or if you don't know yet, I mean, devil's in the details, I guess, is my question, because while that looks like a lot of money on the outside, it really is, it may not be when you consider the amount of work and equipment and time and places that we mow and maintain and respond to when things don't go as they should, or as people think they should.
Yes, so currently you have, well, right now you just have 2 people at the cemetery. I had one leave, probably 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, he moved off, and then we done the hiring freeze, so I haven't been able to replace him. So you got 2 people at the cemetery, and we've been mowing about 2 to 3 weeks. It's a full-time job for 3 people, 4 to 5 days a week.
So how often would this price get us mowing? That's not
Every
what I'm
week.
asking. Okay, so
It has to be done every week.
this
Just like
price
that.
would be comparable to the current rotation or service that we're doing.
That's what their number is, so that's on however they,
What do we spend now to mow it?
Okay, it's about 48,000, what the budget is, plus 3 employees fully burdened. So, I'm gonna say roughly 60,000 per employee with insurance times 3, that's, roughly 240.
Is that all these employees do for 12 months out of the year?
No, no.
I mean, that's not.
So during the winter time, they run the leaf truck, they fill in at the park, they paint, stuff like that.
You'll be keeping these employees if we're not here, is that the plan?
That's my recommendation, but that's at the will of the board.
You said you have 2 spots that are empty now because someone left that you haven't filled. I'm not counting mowing, I'm talking about in other positions.
I have one at the park, so I've got a guy that's been off for a while, so I filled his position with personnel from the park, so I have one position open at the park. You have a position at the street department that's froze. It's a superintendent position. That's all I have, right off the top of my head. Yeah, and the cemetery position is open.
Yeah, but with this, you wouldn't need the cemetery.
Do these people work, do they do this anywhere else? Do they have any other places they might?
The museum, and they'll fill in at the park, you know, if we have a big,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, do they work for somebody else too? But any other entities they work?
Oh, these people on the bid?
Yeah, these people, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Do they have any references?
I haven't seen any.
I'm just concerned with, I know some of these people on here, and I think they're very good people, but the prices are just from one end of the spectrum to the other, and you know, we have people here that are concerned about the cemetery, and I am as well, because that's sacred ground.
It's a big
To
deal.
me, when you have your city employees that are doing it, they do a good job, they know what to do. Yeah, there's a few bumps and things do happen, but will someone else take the time and, you know, do what we expect them to do? If not, would they, you know, is their contract null and void? Are they fired? Who's over them? How does that work?
So basically, the city has cemetery rules now that we have to uphold. They'd be entitled to uphold those.
Were they given those in the packet before they made the bids?
No.
So that to me is the deal, that a bid like this has gotta be very detailed and understood what to expect, because to be fair to the people bidding, they need to be sure they know what they're agreeing to, and to be fair to us, we gotta know what we're getting or not getting.
One of these bids, I mean, well, some of the bids, they look rather low considering how many people they may have, their wear and tear on their vehicles, their maintenance and all that, and I just wonder if they just was lowballing it to get the position, I mean, to get the contract.
I haven't ever talked to any of these, but back through time, I did speak with several lawn mowing companies about the cemetery in Lexington, and every one of them said somewhere right around 100,000. That's what every one of them would tell me they would mow it. They actually just about all said 8 days a week, 365 days a year. But, I mean, I don't know. Is any of these people here?
Yeah, I'll say this before anybody speaks, I'm not gonna call names, but I know 2 of these on here, one of them very well, and there's some very reputable people. So just, I do believe if they agreed to do it, they would make it happen, but I'm just questioning, do they know what they're agreeing to do, and do we understand what they're agreeing to do from the same type of service that, you know, that we have been performing?
I'm like you, I know one, and he's really good. He does good work, I'm just gonna be quiet.
Mayor, what's your recommendation on this?
Well, the reason we bid this out was to see if we could save some money and see if it could be applied to other areas. If we don't do at least one to try this, to see if it works, we're gonna be paying in increments, we're not gonna pay for the whole job up front. Now, does it have a cancellation clause, and if we're not justified, we can stop it?
Yes.
Okay, so we do have the means.
At
If
my
we're not-
discretion, yes.
Huh?
At my discretion, yes.
Alright, so it's your discretion, if they're not doing an adequate job, we can cancel this contract.
Yes.
If we can do that, and we should try it, I would recommend that we take the bid and we try it to see if we can do it. And if Casey says that they cannot do a good job and not adequately do what we need done, then we quit it and we go back and mow ourselves. We're not gonna get rid of anything or any lawnmowers right now, we'll see if this will work anyway. But we have to start somewhere. We have other properties. I spent the greater part of the day with him riding around looking at all the stuff we got. And we're mowing a lot of vacant lots. We're having to mow where they closed up the landfills. There's a lot of things we're mowing. We're gonna have to use some of this. We got 7 people that mow in the summertime. So if we can take the burden off and save a little money, I would recommend us trying it to do it. That's my recommendation.
I don't have a problem, Mayor, supporting what you want. The only thing I'll say is when you lose control, sometimes you wish you had paid a little more and been able to.
I would agree I talked to Casey about this, and I agree with one thing. I think the 73,500 is a little low. I agree with what Chip said. I talked to several people, and every one of them said it's basically the same thing. It's $100,000 a year job is what it is. We got one at 98, one at 120. It's at discretion of the board. You can choose any bid on this page you want. It don't have to be low bid, because if you feel it's inadequate, you can change and you can take the one for 98, you can take the one for 120. But I would not want to be cheap, as you say, Roger, and not get what you're paying for.
And the other one, maybe, I'm not, on the price, I'm not really, just making sure they get out there and do their job, and then Casey don't have to go behind them, because then we're not saving money.
We're not gonna go behind them. If they don't fulfill the contract, and they don't want what we ask them to do, then we'll terminate the contract. That's what this thing implies and what we're gonna try to do.
Are we gonna lose any, I know we're down employees, so this is not, are we talking about laying off or not rehiring? Cause I'm concerned about that, cause these employees do other duties, so if we did this, this will be in the budget without having to cut back any other.
Actually, he's down enough now, it's just about a wash is what it takes, so that'll let us be able to see what we're doing.
Instead of rehiring.
Right, yeah. What we do, we try what we got to see where we're at, because if we do that, then it works, and we could address that later on. But if we start it now, we at least get in before we get in the budget year, see if we could or could not do this.
Do you support this, Casey, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, the employees we have over there and they do a good job and they take pride in it, and we have full control. You know, we have accidents sometimes, but we take care of it, turn it in on the insurance, or we fix it ourselves. We try to run a good operation. So
I think you're gonna know pretty quick when these people get to cut, whether they're gonna be able to do your job or not, because we'll hear right out here, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, we'll hear quick. And we shouldn't hang around long if they're not doing the job.
I agree.
So from a partial, so trying to compare apples to apples on savings, do you see a saving? Because some of the employees you referenced a minute ago are doing other duties, so it is, I'm trying to put this in perspective. Do you know how to articulate what kind of savings we're talking about if we're not gonna rehire somebody? Or I guess you could repurpose the current people that are doing this work to something else. Is that what would happen, or what are your thoughts?
it'll help your cemetery budget, I guess.
Because there's more coming out of the cemetery.
In that aspect, because you're gonna absorb one or two in other open positions throughout the city, not necessarily on the
The
cemetery
city
side.
funds all the budgets, right? There's, the cemetery budget's funded solely by the city, so you
Yes.
gotta look at the big picture, not just one. But if we take away a little from here, but we add more than that somewhere else, that's not.
But the other's already there, correct?
Sorry.
The other's already there, I'm asking. I mean, the other 2 positions are already there, already budgeted, that you could move these 2 people to.
You have one at the park that's open, okay, so one can go in that. And you're gonna struggle with the other, because you have the cemetery, but you're doing away with that, okay? So, you have a frozen superintendent position. You could make it a general maintenance position.
Superintendent, is that for?
That's for the street. Yeah. That was my old job.
Kathy, you have some?
Yeah, you guys got the, finances for general fund. If you look down on page 11,
It's not in the packet.
it's on the packet, it's on the side. So on page 11 for cemeteries, there is no payroll.
It's actually under the park.
It is under the park. So you gotta go over
Question
to
is
the park.
The big picture, forget the line items, is there gonna be, I'm trying to understand.
So if you were to do this, you would have to do a budget amendment. Let's say you go with the $100,000 one. You'd have to do a budget amendment to take that salary out of the park, move it over to the cemetery for mowing. So you're gonna be taking the park's $100,000 for payroll, you're gonna have to move it to cemetery, or you're gonna have to increase your budget.
Okay, but we're saying it's gonna be a wash, the payroll we would say.
If he does not replace the people that he,
So it's not really a gain, that's what I'm.
correct.
And
You
we're
can pretty
losing
much
some
be
good
close to
positions.
washing, because you're gonna lose your paying the insurance and employee benefits. Overall, if those guys are getting about 50,000 a year, you're going to wash. You're probably actually gonna save a little money.
These positions also do other duties, so we're losing out there.
Yes.
And
So that's the
also-
key. Are you gonna keep them and increase your cemetery by 100,000? Or are you gonna keep those guys frozen and save 25, 45,000?
I guess where I'm lost is I thought you opened this with you were short 3 people right now. You got a frozen supervisor, you got 1 man gone from the cemetery, and we have 1 man gone from the park.
That's right.
So where are we gaining salaries? I'm lost on that part. If so you said 220,000, so let's make all 40,000 or 50,000 for the part of the year that they're not at the cemetery mowing. So we're still at 175,000. Right? I'm roughly guessing. So how is there not a $75,000 savings if we do the $100,000? I can't figure that out.
We're not paying the supervisor.
No, I know that, but it's in his budget. So if you made that a general maintenance position, that's gonna drop that budget price. That salary's gonna drop. And then we already got all these salaries budgeted, is my understanding. So I can't figure out how we're not saving money. I'm lost.
I'm lost on how many positions he currently has open.
Yeah, he said 1 at the park,
How
1
many
at
do
the
you currently
cemetery.
have open that actually, at this moment, you're not rehiring?
We're under a hiring freeze, so you got 1 at the cemetery,
Okay.
1 at the park,
And 1
on the
street.
patrol.
The cemetery is actually in the park, though. There is no payroll in cemetery. That's confusing.
There actually
There is
both
no
in the park.
payroll in cemetery. So you have
Cemetery's
two
under
in
the park, but
That's been an argument
Wait a minute,
for 20 years. They made me mad.
So you,
let's stop right here, okay? And we do back and forth all night on this, and it's not gonna gain nothing. The question is, so we've been mowing the cemetery for free all these years. Isn't that right? So we've been paying it out of parks. But what you're telling me is we've been mowing the cemetery all these years for free.
who would pay it?
No, wait a minute, I'm asking, if this ain't in the budget, it's never been a line item in there, but you have expense in there for the cemetery, and you have, what, $40,000, $50,000?
Shows 48,000 for.
So what is the $48,000 for?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Donald, can I bring this to you so you can see it? That'd be awesome.
How much is it?
It's, $47,850. The cemetery total operating expenses.
That's operating,
That's dirt, topsoil, safety supplies, marking supplies, consumable tools, small assets, tires, tubes, clothing, janitorial supplies, chemicals, operating supplies, office supplies, which I don't know, R&M grounds, like, we usually put some, money in there for grounds to, like, last year I went around and mulched all the perimeter and to do upgrades to the cemetery and that.
Okay, and in the bid, they did not do that, did they?
Sorry,
In the bid, it's not proposed for them to do that, is it?
no, it's just.
All is strictly mowing, is that correct?
Mowing and weeding, yes.
Okay, it's mowing and weeding. So what I'm saying is, we budgeted money to keep it up, but not really mow it.
The park's paying the mower, that's what he's saying.
What we're saying is that we do not have a budget showing anybody mows the cemetery. All that budget shows is we put money to maintain the cemetery, $47,800.
More or less, yes.
Casey, what's this 10-5 in small assets?
That's, weed eaters, rakes, well, not rakes, but like weed eaters and stuff like that, hedge trimmers, chainsaw, something like that, blowers. You go through a couple of blowers, weed eaters a year.
But you're having some efficiencies because the employees of the parks are mowing the cemetery.
But what I'm getting around to is asking a simple question. So it's kind of like everything else we do. What we're doing is we're allocating money to one thing, we're using it somewhere else, is what we're doing.
They do other stuff.
Let's call a spade a spade. They work, but if you're gonna do the parks budget, and the parks budget says these people are getting paid out of that, but they're mowing the cemetery, that's a fallacy that I'm running into all the time when I'm trying to put a budget together. We allocate money for one thing, but we spend it somewhere else. This new budget coming up cannot do that. This new budget is gonna have to say, we spend money, where we allocate it, that's where we spend it. We don't allocate money and then spend it somewhere else. That's why we can't track what we're doing successfully. And I ain't finding just only in this, I'm finding in several other departments is the same way.
So we need to share salaries, is what it's saying.
That's right. So if we're gonna share salaries, we're gonna have line items to know that that's actually what we're doing. Now, had I known, which is, it's my fault, had I known what we know now, we'd probably not bid this out. We're not, because it is not representative truly of what we're doing right here. Now, the numbers, I believe correctly, you told me you had 7 people that mowed during the summer.
So you got 3 at the street, you got, 3 at the park when it's fully staffed, not counting your street department employees that mow. You got 2 tractors that run every day, and then you got 2 to 3 man mowing crew on the street side that mow.
Okay, so what's the total?
3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11.
Okay.
We got 3 at the street, 3 at the park, and then
3 at the park. So the ones at the park, they do Montgomery, they do the soccer complex, and they do Gabianes. Okay. And not only that, they do field marking, other maintenance at the parks. Okay. The cemetery, you got 3 at the cemetery. They do the museum, and they do the cemetery. Okay. And
okay, now wait a minute, 3, okay. The park people do the museum and the cemetery? Or the street?
the cemetery people do,
But they're under the park budget?
That's correct.
yes, the
So
payroll.
they're doing Montgomery, Soccer, Guy B. Amos, the cemetery,
And the museum.
and museum.
Music, and they're gonna be doing the Home Depot. I mean, not Home Depot, but Depot Park.
My husband calls it that too.
Honestly.
And I know, he'll laugh at himself when he doesn't.
So you have 6 in the park doing all that work. Then you have 2 tractor hands on the street side that run tractors. And then you also have 2 to 3 on the street side that do zero turn mowing, like airways where it's wide, different properties around town that the city owns. Or wide spots in the right of ways, stuff like that. Light poles, guardrails, bridges, stuff like that.
Well, we almost need a lawn care department. thinking now, we need to wait till we get the budget straightened out.
I believe we don't have to wait for the budget, because I don't know what we're paying for water, who's getting paid for water.
So on the,
Kinda like to me, we don't know what we're doing.
so on the cemetery part, the payroll being under the part, that's the way it, I assume you do
I
the sale.
look, Casey, I totally agree, okay? But how do you do a budget when you say we're paying 3 guys to mow the cemetery, but the money's coming out of parks, okay?
It's been that way for
I mean, what
27
I'm trying to
years.
tell you is, you can't get a realistic number for anything we're doing if you don't have it allocated right. That's all I'm saying, and what I'm saying is, I think what we're doing right here is a waste of effort, is what it's doing, because not doing what we're doing is bad. And I think that we're gonna have to, when we come up with a budget this coming year, whatever they do and what they get allocated for and the time spent is gonna have to be justified for the dollars we spend. It can't be, so, well, we're gonna keep them over here, if we ain't doing nothing over here, we shift them over here, but all the money comes out of this pot. Because if we stick that money in that pot, quite frankly, we're doing a very lousy job of keep track of our money. That's the way I see this. So as far as I'm concerned, I recommend no bid, let it go, and we'll get the new budget and we'll work from that point, because I don't see right now how we can adequately tell what we're doing either way. That's my recommendation. All right, we're gonna move on. Pass on the mowing bids, charter change is next. What you have in here, we set it up. We put the department heads back in. The greatest change is that they did not reinstate the department heads. And the reason they didn't do it, they said because they didn't recommend it. They said you can do it by resolution if that's what you wanna do. It's already in here where you combine jobs, combine departments, and either start a department or do away with the department. It's in here, it's already in there. It's in the prior charter from the setback, so they didn't put it back in there. So the only big difference is they did not put the department heads back in there, and if you want it back in, you would do it by resolution. And that's basically all the difference is between what we set up there. That's what we have.
Mayor, did they give you any reason as to, I called, after our last meeting, I had some questions on ratification. There was some stuff that was, said after that last meeting. And anyway, I called Al Oglesby. He is the lead counsel for Impasse in Nashville. Mr. Whitehead's, I guess is who he was the way that I understood that. And, MTask and Mr. Whitehead, they've given us good guidance, and I think we benefit from what they tell us. But in my conversation with Al, he said, the board runs this, he said, it's up to the board. He said, we're here to advise you. And he gave different options on different things. What I found was real different was that, he was not about combining these departments the way that, Mr. Whitehead was. In fact, he said MTAS has strong recommendations against doing it. And sent some links and some different things to me. So I'm really confused about why our state would not want the duties and responsibilities of our department heads listed in our charter to restore it back to the way that it was. We've got an officer title in here, and to me, I don't know, unchecked power is just a problem. And what we sent restored the clear lines of the mayor's authority, the board's oversight, and not one single person. We outlined their responsibilities. At the present time, we don't have any department heads in our charter, much less their duties or their responsibilities. All we got back from them is mayoral powers, and I don't understand that because that's not what the board passed. I believe we need our department head verbiage back in the charter.
Donna.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that not, and I'm just asking because it's getting really confusing, and it's been confusing from day one. I don't think, not just for me, I think is that in the municipal codes about the department heads and things? I've read so many different things, I can't even remember where I've read and what I've read.
It may be, but respectfully, here's the deal. What happened with this previous board, Mr. Whitehead and our former mayor put things in here that this board did not know was in here. And when you get in and you start reading the legalities of this, all we're trying to do is put the charter back the way it was. That's all in the world we're trying to do, is put it back like it was, with the mayor being able to break a tie and our department heads live out in the city.
And that's in here now.
I mean, in the county.
And that's in here now.
But it's not that way now. You have no department head verbiage in your charter at all. Zero. You have an officer.
But you do have about the mayor breaking the tie and all that.
In the current charter,
Yeah.
but you don't have your department head verbiage in your charter.
The department heads are referred to as officers.
There is one officer that all officers, that's the way it read.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. I mean, to me, the board needs to have somebody from MTAS or somebody to tell us what we're changing. We've talked around this so much. My opinion, we're not an attorney, I'm sure not. So to make changes to the charter without MTAS giving me some advice or, saying they've looked at it and they agree, I'm just not for changing anything without having some input from a third party that confirms what we're actually doing. Because we've talked about this so many times. I don't know who's made changes. I do fully understand the last time we talked about this, there was a crystal clear paragraph left out. There was nothing else talked about adding anything. It was just, it was putting back the paragraph that was left out verbatim. Nothing else was to get changed.
And that was the conversation with Mr. Whitehead, correct?
When he was here.
Right. And I appreciate him and I respect him, but, respectfully, I want a separate opinion from just his. That's why I called Mr. Oglesby and National.
Kathy, been talking to him on the phone, she wants to speak, go ahead and tell him.
So what I actually did was, the mayor had requested that I send up the change in regards to the mayor powers, and we did. And at that time, we did not know that the 2023 had where you could combine the department heads actually in there. So we actually started comparing the 2023 to the 2018. And we verified that combined is in there. What we did not see was we did not see the individual department explanations for each department. We saw the new paragraph that covers the officers. Oh, this is legislation, this is actually capital we were talking to.
Right.
Capital cannot do anything if it was not presented in a resolution. And that resolution actually has to have the vote, as you and I were talking about earlier, it's gotta have those vote quantity numbers on there. So, what they had said was if you want anything, so they do have the part about the mayor, they're gonna present that to be fixed during the next meeting. So they are presenting that part, but they did not have the part for the departments. So what they need is for us to decide whether or not we want to add the individual departments back in, and if we do, we have to do it on a resolution with the vote count, so that gives them, at the Capitol, authorization to fix our charter.
We
So
did
that's
that.
where we're at.
We did that.
They don't have it on record. The only thing she told the mayor and I that they did receive was what is on this that's rewritten by them. There is nothing about our department heads.
But that's what we passed at
Yes.
the last, there was a 4-3 vote that passed it, because that's what spurred my call to Mr. Oglesby in Nashville.
If you could tell me where that resolution is, because we looked through the resolutions and we
couldn't
did not
find it?
have a resolution.
I'll go back
like
through
that.
I'll go back through my.
Otherwise, if you guys do decide, we will have to present a new resolution next month to you for approval, and then we can send it down, but we have to do it quickly because they're gonna be going into the voting sessions shortly.
Right, thank you.
All right, that being said, we'll have to go back and see what we got our resolution got or not, so moving off the charter, we're going to new business.
Well, wait just a minute, I wanna come back up here, I'm sorry to do this.
You go ahead.
But I didn't get a clear, clarification on the automated time card. So when we say everybody, we're talking from the city hall to the Lexington electric system, everyone is doing automated time card.
That's right,
Everybody.
everybody,
No one's left out.
nobody left out.
That's all I know.
Right, we're going to try to put it back, or put it, where we're all, do you remember the stack of policies I handed you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. We're gonna take LES policies, we're gonna take our policies, and what we're gonna do is, because we're, 14, 12 years behind. And what we need to do is, we're going to redo those policies in conjunction with LES, and there's gonna be one policy. So now, mind you, there may be a few things separate because of police and everything, but the bulk of those policies reflect everything in the city. We all go with the same guidelines, so they can say, well, this department can do this, or this department can do that. We want to rewrite them. They've been ignored for 12 years. We've got to put them back in. Now, that real thick case, they recommend things. It's kind of like this charter thing. It recommends something, it changes things, they've done it. But what they're going to do is, the new HR person is going to sit down once a week with the department heads for 1 to 2 hours, and they're going to start reviewing every one of these policies, and they're going to go over them. So when it comes to this board, that policy reflects all of them.
Fair enough.
That is the goal that we intend to do. Okay, anything else?
Fair enough.
Okay. All right, anything else for you on new business? Second reading ordinance, amending the text of zoning ordinance, Lexington, Tennessee, to amend definition of nursery schools as to allow child care, family home, also family care homes per TCA code. We had the state come in and explain to it what they're doing and make it a little bit easier, but it also has strict guidelines. So what we're doing is taking a second reading to amend the state code to do the home child care.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Tim Rose,
Yes.
Donna Ross,
Yes.
Jimmy White,
Yes.
Gabe Williams,
Yes.
Sandra Wood.
Yes.
Chip Clark,
Yes.
Roger Lofton.
Yes.
Okay. Second reading of an ordinance amending fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. That's on page, let me just see. 65? 55, I'm sorry. 55. Okay. What that is, that's to cover training. Fran will be working part-time and getting a new HR person so we can start them before the budget year starts, and we need that amendment to do that. We also have the, in lieu of taxes, because of the electric system, we shorted $65,737, and, what's the other one, there's another one here. Lawnmowers on there, we can buy a lawnmower.
Went up 3,000.
Huh?
It went up 3,000.
Right, went up 3,000. So that's what we're voting on, amend the budget for this fiscal year.
I'm just curious about one thing on this building improvements under the garage. It's showing the HVAC over that budgeted amount. It's not much, it's $3,000, and I'm assuming that's under the bid limit because it's under 25,000. When we're doing this stuff, are we not getting written estimates of this cost of this? I mean, how are we coming in $3,000 over on something like that? Are we not getting cost estimates?
I had 3, yes. Yes.
But they came in 3,000 over the estimate?
Over what we had budgeted, yes.
When did you have the estimate?
We did have one that come under, but he decided he didn't want to opt into it.
I see, okay.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
You have a second. Please call the roll.
Donna Ross,
Yes.
Jimmy White,
Yes.
Gabe Williams,
Yes.
Sandra Wood, Kip Clark,
Yes.
Roger Lofton,
Yes.
Tim Rhodes.
Yes.
The second reading of ordinance amending the municipal code relative to the personnel director. Let's put the personnel director report into the mayor instead of the, city recorder.
Make that motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Jimmy White,
Yes.
Gabe Williams,
Yes.
Sandra Wood,
Yes.
Chip Clark,
Yes.
Roger Lofton,
Yes.
Tim Rhodes,
Yes.
Donna Ross.
Yes.
A4 is the human resource director. We had 4 applicants that we interviewed for this job. We talked to them, and I talked to Fran today. What we're gonna do is we're going outside and hire somebody from outside. And what we're gonna do is, it goes back to what we was talking about, when we go about the way money is appropriated. HR director, if you're gonna do an HR director, it needs to be a director. And what that is